Hello and welcome to Grumpy Gnome Gaming. For those of you that have taken the moment to look at my intro video, you would have noticed at the very end that my first Let's Play Through tutorial is going to be based on Baldur's Gate Extended Edition. Now, Baldur's Gate, being an advanced Dungeons & Dragons game, is based on 2nd edition rules rather than today's 5th edition rules. And for those of you that are not familiar with that rule set, I thought it best to discuss some of the races that we will be encountering in this game, and also looking at the different character classes that are available. After we go through the race and character classes, I will give a brief tutorial on how to create a character for the game, and then we're going to launch into our storybook run, which is based on the original characters and their run through the enhanced edition, which is Baldur's Gate 1, and also carried on into Baldur's Gate 2. Now, I will try to make this as entertaining as possible. For those of you that do not have a high tolerance for my voice, you may simply click the mute button and read along. For those of you that can tolerate my voice, I will try to read with as much prosody as possible to make this enjoyable for you. Without further ado, let's take a look at our races. The race of your character will determine what their base abilities can be, as well as assign possible intrinsic talents such as improvision. Some restrictions in class selection may also apply because game balance dictates that certain races are unsuited for certain professions. Humans. Humans are the dominant race in Faerun. Humans rule most of the significant empires and kingdoms in the realms. They are the most social and tolerant of races, excepting perhaps the Halflings. Humans may advance as any class and are also the only race that can dual class. Humans may not multi-class. Elves. Elves tend to be shorter and slimmer than humans. Their features are finely chiseled and delicate, and they speak in melodic tones. Elves are looked upon as frivolous and aloof. They concern themselves with natural beauty, dancing, frolicking, and other similar pursuits. Their humor is clever, as are their songs and poetry. There are 6 racial divisions of elves within the realms: gold elves, moon elves, wild elves, sea elves, dark elves, and winged elves. Elves have the following traits: plus 90% resistance against charm and sleep magics. Elves have improvision. Elves have a +1 to hit armor class 0 with bows, short swords, and long swords. For thieving abilities, elves have a -5% to open locks, +5% to pickpockets, +5% to move silently, and +10% to hide in shadows. Characteristic bonuses for elves: they have a +1 to dexterity and a -1 to constitution. Half-elves. Half-elves are a mix of human and elven blood. They are handsome folk with good features from their parent races. A half-elf has the curiosity, inventiveness, and ambition of their human ancestors, and the refined senses, love of nature, and artistic taste of their elven ancestors. Half-elves have the following traits: 30% resistance against charm and sleep magics, improvision, and for thieving, a plus 10% to pickpockets, and plus 5% to hide in shadows. Dwarves. Dwarves are short and stocky, easily identified by their size and shape. They have ruddy cheeks, dark eyes, and dark hair. Dwarves tend to be dour and taciturn. They are given to hard work and care little for most humor. They enjoy beer, ale, mead, but most of all, they love gold. There are 4 racial divisions of dwarves within the realms: shield dwarves, gold dwarves, wild dwarves, and Durgar. Dwarves have the following traits: a plus 2 bonus to saving throws versus paralysis, poison, and death, versus rod, staff, and wand, and versus spell, with additional bonuses based on constitution. Dwarves have improvision. Their thieving bonuses include plus 10% to open locks, plus 15% to find traps, plus 5% to detect illusion, and plus 10% to set traps. Their characteristic bonuses are plus 1 to Constitution, minus 1 to Dexterity, and minus 2 to Charisma. Halflings. Halflings are short, generally plump people, much like small humans. Their faces are round and broad and often quite florid. Their hair is typically curly, and the tops of their feet are covered with coarse hair. Overall, they prefer the comforts of home to dangerous adventuring. They enjoy good living, rough humor, and homespun tales. There are 3 racial divisions of halflings within the realms: the Harefoot, Tall Fellow, and Stout. Halflings have the following traits: plus 2 bonus to saving throws versus paralysis, poison, and death, versus rod, staff, and wand, and versus spell, with additional bonuses based on constitution. They get a plus 1 to hit armor class 0, bonus with slings. Their thieving bonuses are plus 5% to open locks, plus 5% to find traps, plus 5% to pickpockets, plus 10% to move silently, and plus 15% to hide in shadows. Their characteristic bonuses are plus 1 to Dexterity, minus 1 to Strength, and minus 1 to Wisdom. Gnomes. Kin to dwarves, gnomes are noticeably smaller than their distant cousins. Gnomes, as they proudly maintain, are also less rotund than dwarves. Most have dark tan or brown skin, white hair, and rather large noses. Gnomes have lively and sly senses of humor, especially for practical jokes. They have a love for nature that is only matched by their love for gems and jewelry. There are 2 racial divisions of gnomes within the realms: rock gnomes and deep gnomes. Gnomes have the following traits: plus 2 bonus to saving throws versus rod, staff, and wand, and versus spell. with additional bonuses based on Constitution. Gnomes have improvision. Their thieving bonuses are plus 5% to open locks, plus 10% to find traps, plus 5% to move silently, plus 5% to hide in shadows, plus 10% to detect illusion, and plus 5% to set traps. Characteristic bonuses are plus 1 to intelligence and minus 1 to wisdom. Lastly, we have the half-orcs. Half-orcs are born from the union of humans and orc parents. They are tall as human, but a little heavier due to their muscular builds. Their greenish pigmentation, sloping forehead, jutting jaw, prominent teeth, and coarse body hair make their lineage plain for all to see. In the Sword Coast, half-orcs are tolerated, as unlike in the north, the local people haven't had centuries of warfare with orc kind. Half-orcs are known for their great strength. Half-orcs have the following traits: improvision, and characteristically, plus 1 to strength, plus 1 constitution, and minus 2 to intelligence. That summarizes our races in Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition and for Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them below. Also, I ask for your support if you would kindly like and subscribe to this channel and share it with your friends. The next video, we are going to begin the character classes, and that is going to be a series of videos because we are going to also look at each class's subclass. Thank you again for your support. Grumpy Gnome, take care. Bye-bye.